if you want to be of positive impact in your life and business, it's essential for you to adopt the developer's mindset, and which basically states that you create your reality. This is the essence of personal empowerment, is having a developer's mindset. But what I want to talk to you in that is that this is like being a software developer, but of yourself. Let's get into it. Sensei Victoria Whitfield from strategicmeditation.com. It is my mission, my joy, my passion to help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders like you get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. I'm called to the work after 14 consecutive years and counting to help people like you increase your energy so that you can increase your income and impact. And this message is dedicated to those of you who are all about having a miracle morning, right? Setting your mindset right, first and foremost, before you go into your day ahead. So make sure, if that speaks to you, like, subscribe, hit the share button, share this with your list. If this is something that you believe in, setting your mindset right to be aligned with spirit, aligned with abundance first, so that you are a force for positive change. With that, we are talking about you becoming a spiritual software developer. That's the name of the game today. So if you are not a techie person, you may hear this and think like, you're leaving me in the dust. And I'm going to do my best to not do that, right? Because if you don't understand, that means we don't understand. And for those of you who are techie, enjoy, because taking my background as a web developer and learning some software development is not my mastery. I have people who are like at Google and MIT in my family that I'm immediately related to. So that's their mastery. But what I love to do is take a programmer's mindset to programming the mind, applying it from computer programming and web development, and instead taking these same principles but applying them to neuroscience, psychology, behavior, my own personal behavior modification. It's these tactics that have helped me to not only be successfully self-employed full-time. I don't have any side gigs and haven't for over a decade at multiple six figures, right? As like starting in my 20s, and now I'm in my 30s, gonna be in 40s soon. So grateful, right? It's done that for me. It's also helped me to release smoking and alcohol addiction. It's helped me to release food addiction. It's helped me to reprogram how I approach relationships when I have a developer's mindset. And so I want to give this as a gift to you today because I believe in sharing what has helped me with others. Because without having a developer's mindset, I believed I was a victim of my circumstance, and that this is just the way the world is, and I have to navigate with this is the way the world is. This is the way I was made. I can't change. I can't change my circumstances. I can't elevate. I believed it, and because I believed that, I operated in a way that limited myself, that made me highly self-conscious as a woman of color, as also I'm half white. So as a black white woman, like these things of, okay, that's what people say about race, for example, and femininity. This is what people say. And because this is what people say, this is what I have to work within. That is the box that is drawn around me as a human being. This meat pocket has been built in a certain way. This meat vehicle, this fabulous Ferrari that I get to drive through life, has been created in a certain way. And these are the external rules and regulations and accepted patterns of social constructs of beauty and worthiness and all this kind of crap. And I got to go within that versus believing on a completely alternative path. Instead of believing that I'm a victim of my circumstance, believing that I create my reality. Before, when I was first learning about this, it was like, oh, law of attraction, The Secret, manifestation, getting into woo-woo stuff. At this age and stage, now that I'm 20 years deep into this practice, personally and professionally, actually, I see it from a software perspective of, okay, if I'm a developer, I'm not at all like impressed or intimidated or limited even in any way, shape, and form by the end product or the output. No, if I have a developer's mindset, I can go under the hood and tinker so that the output is completely different. I know that I can create, or I can speak to another person who understands this mindset, that we can go into the back end, we can log in as the developer, right? We can log in to the back end and change the output. I create my own reality, right? Why? Because I code, or because I understand command prompt and how to do it, or I understand how to read and to access the information. And in your role of, let's just say, web development in particular, right? Having the developer's mindset. If you have a website, there's user logins, and then there's admin logins, and then there's the developers features, right? So if you want to really look at the back end of the back end, you can't do it by logging in as a user. So this is the average person who has no idea how to change anything, like to change a color on a website, for example. As a user, you may not have admin capabilities, but the admin can log in and control and manage users and their level of access, can control and change the display of the entire website. But let's say the website is down and you're an admin, you're like, crap, I can't log into the website. Well, then we need to take another step back to the developer. We need to talk to the developers who are working on the scaffolding, right? Who can control what's with the FTP, right? Or all of the source code behind the platform so that we can get it back up running again. So if we come with a user mindset, we will get used. I'm going to say that again. If you come at life, let alone your website, with a user login or user's mindset, you are going to get used because you're only here to use. Law of attraction, okay? If we come with an admin mindset, this is another level of I'm here to manage and to influence because you are taking care of the administration of the website. It's a different mindset to approach. The developer says, I can create out of thin air. I can do it from scratch, right? So full access is the developer's mindset. Today in particular, I'm hearing from my spirit guides to invite you to be your own spiritual software developer. You create your life today. You have access, not as a user, and not just as an admin where you can modify stuff within the scaffolding. No. You have developer access. Divine Spirit gave you developer level access to yourself. You can engage in personal development as your own spiritual software developer. But I digress. Let's support this, right? Let's bring in some more voices to help deepen our connection to being your spiritual software developer today in particular. We're going to Think and Grow Rich as usual. And this is going to illustrate the importance of having a developer's mindset. Check this out. A lesson from a collection agency. Anything acquired without effort and without cost is generally unappreciated, often discredited. Perhaps this is why we get so little from our marvelous opportunity in public schools. The self-discipline one receives from a definite program of specialized study makes up to some extent for the wasted opportunity when knowledge was available without cost. Correspondence schools are highly organized business institutions. Their tuition fees are so low that they are forced to insist upon prompt payments. Being asked to pay, wait for it, whether the student makes good grades or poor has the effect of causing one to follow through with the course when he would have otherwise dropped it. The correspondence schools have not stressed this point sufficiently, for the truth is that their collection departments constitute the very finest sort of training on decision, promptness, and the habit of finishing what one begins. I learned this from experience more than 45 years ago, Napoleon Hill is speaking. I enrolled for a home study course in advertising. After completing 8 or 10 lessons, I stopped studying, but the school did not stop sending more bills. Moreover, it insisted upon payment whether I kept up my studies or not. I decided that if I had to pay for the course, which I had legally obliged myself to do and obligated myself to do, I should complete the lessons and get my money's worth. I felt at the time that the collection system of the school was somewhat too well organized, but I learned later in life that it was a valuable part of my training for which no charge had been made. Being forced to pay, I went ahead and completed the course. Later in life, I discovered that the efficient collection system of that school had been worth much in the form of money earned because of the training in advertising I had so reluctantly taken. Money motivates people. The pain of paying creates focus and progress. People who pay attention. Let me connect this back then to you being your own software developer. When you have a developer's mindset, you have skin in the game, creative skin in the game. It's on you. If you create your reality, then you're not blaming anybody or anything that may have happened to you for the reality and the circumstances that you have. The same way that if you have to pay to learn and you have to keep paying until you finish the course, you are gonna learn. You have skin in the game. Skin in the game is essential for you to be a conscious creator. You knowing that it's on you. You created this reality. That is the sad truth. And thank God. Praise be to God. That is the best truth, that you created this reality, because that means you can go back in, just like the developer, log into the backend, change what's producing the output, and get a whole new reality. Having a developer's mindset is key. This is the opposite of playing the blame game, right? Every time you blame something, somebody, something other than you, we've got 3 fingers pointing back to you. pointing away. Only one is pointing at them. One is to creator. 3, that's 60% of the problem. More than half, right? 3 times 2 is 6, times 10 is 60. 60% of the issue is on you. It's on you to make the shift. Have a developer's mindset of, oh, there's an error message. We don't have enough money. Okay, there's an error message. I'm not getting enough leads. Oh, what am I going to do as a developer? Let me go in and fix that. That's what I can do, because I know that I create my reality. I created this program. I created this output, this issue, this current state. I can go back in, change the system, change the program, reprogram my mind and my behaviors to create a new output. I'm not going to blame my kids. I'm not going to blame my husband. I'm not going to blame the economy. I'm not going to blame the Democrats or the Republicans or the Libertarians or the Green people or the random people. I'm not going to blame so-and-so. I'm not going to blame developer. I create my own reality. Let's just go and put an update in. But I digress. Go into science, right? Skin in the game is the key, though. People who pay attention. If you know you're a creator, it's on you. From science, this is from neurosciencenews.com. The source is actually from MIT and dated 2023. Brain mysteries deciphered through AI's self-learning models. So this is going to be an application of what we're talking about. Watch this. A new study reveals that our brain might harness a process resembling self-supervised learning to understand the world. By training neural networks using this machine learning technique, they observed patterns echoing those in mammalian brains. Such models are believed to offer insights into the mammalian brain's strategy to form representations of the physical world. This breakthrough suggests artificial intelligence could provide a deeper understanding of the brain's inner workings. Key facts. 1, self-supervised learning is a technique allowing computational models to learn about visual scenes based on their differences, as opposed to be analogous to the brain's learning method. 2, the research demonstrated that neural activity in self-supervised models closely mirrors that of animals performing similar tasks. 3, MIT researchers also explored the functionality of specialized neurons, known as grid cells, which found that self-supervised models created patterns similar to those in the mammalian brain. So I'm just going to underline self-supervised models and underline grid cells. We're just going to underline that and continue, unpause. To make our way through the world, our brain must develop an intuitive understanding of the physical world around us, which we then use to interpret sensory information coming from the brain. How does the brain develop that intuitive understanding? Many scientists believe that it may use a process similar to what is known as self-supervised learning. This type of machine learning, originally developed as a way to create more efficient models for computer vision, allows computational models to learn about visual scenes based solely on the similarities and differences between them, with no labels, no other information, just all visual. A pair of studies from researchers at the K. Lisa Yang Integrative Computational Neuroscience, or ICON, Center of MIT, offers new evidence supporting this hypothesis. The researchers found that when they trained models known as neural networks using a particular type of self-supervised learning, the resulting models generated activity patterns very similar to those seen in the brains of animals that were performing the same tasks as models. Pause. So that means self-supervised means categorized, right? Self-managed. You're watching yourself learn, versus previous, just the neural network wasn't really watching how it's doing. One was being accountable to itself, the other is not. The accountable one is seen in mammals and humans. The others seen in machines. Unpause. The findings suggest that these models are able to learn representations of the physical world that they can use to make accurate predictions about what will happen in that world, and that the mammalian brain may be using the same strategy, the researchers say. Quote, the theme of our work is that AI designed to help build better robots ends up also being a framework to better understand the brain more generally. We can't say if it's the whole brain yet, but across scales and disparate brain areas, our results seem to be suggestive of an organizing principle. Right? That's what they say at the Icon Center. Modeling the physical world. Early models of computer vision mainly relied on supervised learning. Using this approach, the models are trained to classify images that are labeled with a name, like a cat or a car. The resulting models work well, but this type of training requires a great deal of human-labeled data. To create a more efficient alternative in recent years, researchers have turned to models built through a technique known as contrastive self-supervised learning. This type of learning allows an algorithm to learn to classify objects based on how similar they are to each other with no external labels provided. This, quote, is a very powerful method because you can now leverage very large modern data sets, especially videos, and really unlock their potential. Professor Naebi says, a lot of the modern AI that you see now, especially in the last couple of years with ChatGPT and GPT-4, is a result of training a self-supervised objective function on a large-scale data set to obtain a very flexible representation. These types of models, also called neural networks, consist of thousands or millions of processing units connected to each other. Each node has connections of varying strengths to other nodes in the network. As the network analyzes huge amounts of data, the strengths of those connections change as the network learns to perform the desired task. As the model performs a particular task, the activity patterns of different units within the network can be measured. Each unit's activity can be represented as a firing pattern, similar to the firing patterns of the neurons of the brain. Okay, tying this back in, right, to you becoming your own software developer. We're going to highlight that term that we highlighted before, self-supervised learning. So you're learning, but you are supervising yourself, or the AI is learning, but it's now coded to supervise how it's learning, right? Categorize, I learned that under that category. Categorize, I learned that under that category. On top of that, contrastive self-supervised learning. So not only am I learning, but I'm labeling and putting it into different categories, and I'm comparing the categories. Why is this important? Because this is you being a conscious creator. This is essentially accountability to yourself. Self-accountability is the key to you being your own spiritual software developer today. Having a developer's mindset is not only, oh, I create my reality, whoop-de-doo, right? Flexing that. But on top of that, what have I done? Oh, I created this, right? The accountability, becoming clear of, okay, I create my own reality, but now I need to be accountable for that. You create your own reality, but now you need to be accountable to you for the reality that you have created. This is so important. When you are bringing a developer's mindset, there's a whole nother conversation around the importance of ethics around AI development, right? And being accountable for what people are creating using AI over there. But I'm taking all of that issue and applying it to you and I. Oh, we're developers too. I've developed myself in this way. I've developed my business, my marketing, my copy, my relationships in this way. I need to be responsible for what I have created rather than whining about it or avoiding or hiding or blaming it. Auto accountability is actually the term that I like to, rather than just calling it self-accountable, I call it auto accountable because that's grammatically correct. Neither here nor there. Skin in the game forces you to be more self-accountable or auto-accountable. Go into spirit. The tarot card of the week is Ace of Earth as a challenger. Significant abundance flows to you now. You may get a promotion, salary increase, or unexpected money. If you're starting a new business, the venture will likely succeed. The foundation of prosperity has been well laid. It is also a good time to make an investment. Consider any opportunities carefully. You may soon receive some important legal documents or contracts. Additional meanings: receipt of a gift, improved health, earning a degree, significant purchase, excellent luck, all as a challenger. And so what that means, the Ace of Earth as a challenger, like you laid the right foundation is what this card is saying. But now you need to go and look at the foundation that you've laid and assess the quality that you have laid. Like Spirit says you did the right thing, but your mind and your feelings say, oh, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? Or what's wrong with this? Or what's wrong with these people? What's wrong with the economy? What's wrong with, I'm not enough, like we were talking about last week. No. Ace of Earth as a challenger means go back and assess the quality of your foundation. Assess the life that you have created. Look at it. Be accountable to yourself. Stop resisting it. The challenger means it's an invitation to take a look. With that, our action step of the week, as always, is a strategic meditation. You're going to go log on school and type into the search bar, mainlining source empowerment activation. Again, that's mainlining source empowerment activation. It's 26 minutes. By the way, comment below if you're on school, right? Or if you're doing the meditations, comment below. Would love to, celebrate with you. So it's 26 minutes, and what you do with that meditation, that's going to give you the strength and the energy to take a look at what you have created thus far. Maybe we're doing the blame game simply because we just don't have the energy to do it. And be kind to yourself if that's the situation. Sometimes, you can just get really drained from life. Now, as you're coming to the end of this video, you may think to yourself, okay, this is all awesome, Victoria. Thank you so much. I'm not on school yet, but I have a ton of questions. What you need to do as your right next step then, if you have a lot of questions, is book in a time on my calendar. Click the link in the description of this video or in the email wherever you're seeing this video. I would love to talk to you about being your own spiritual software developer, getting that developer's mindset today, and being accountable to yourself for the life that you have created. Sometimes two heads are better than one looking at this situation. So I'm sending you so much love. Mwah. Remember, you do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.